And it's another Friday night. That means that SmackDown is over with, and we are live on the air. I'm your host, Mac Davis. That is, of course, WWE's famous writer, the only one that ever mattered, and that is the Vince Russo. Hey, Vince.
What is going on, Mad Mac? How you doing today, my friend?
Man, I'm doing great. I do want to mention, though, because before we start, I feel it's our duty to try and protect those that could be in a bad situation right now. So this message right now goes out to Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Liv Morgan, Stephanie Valkyrie, Logan Paul, and Seth Rollins. I just want you to know.
Very
Did
nice.
you see the press conference today?
I did not see the press conference, but I did see a couple of stills.
Oh man, they looked so much in pain to be on that stage. It was very noticeable. I thought, like you mentioned, I saw a picture and I thought, no, let me go back and just see if somebody pulled a still to make it look that way. No, yeah. They looked that bad. It looked like they were just there and didn't want to be there whatsoever.
I just think it's fascinating, and I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Liv Morgan can be on that press conference, but she can't be on TV. And then when I tell you that's because the King of Pops is saving her for a pop, you think I don't know exact. You think I have no idea what I'm talking about. Man, I can't. I can't comprehend if I was the writer of the show and I literally had stars sitting at home. I can't comprehend that. And that tells you flat out they don't know what to do with her. They don't have a plan for her. And the fact that they flew her all the way to Saudi, but she can't appear on Raw, okay.
Yeah, I really did not understand her even showing up. I'm thinking, look, if nothing else, leave her for a big moment. If that's what you want, a big return, but you just had her show back up at a press conference.
Yeah.
That was really very dull. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a very dull press conference. I think everybody already knew what the news was going to be. And that, of course, is that WWE has announced that WrestleMania 43 in 2027 is going to be held now in Saudi Arabia. Vince, what did you think about that?
Oh, so that's actually then not the next WrestleMania, the one after that.
Yeah, we got Vegas, and then we go to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay. Mac, I got to tell you, like, bro, I'll be done watching anything WWE by that point, so that doesn't affect me either way. Mac, I'm just being honest, and I really could care less what the company does at this point. It means nothing to me.
Do you feel like they're turning their back on the American fans, the home
they
of where they started?
Care. It's about
they don't.
Money. That's it. They don't care about anything else. And my co-host Jeff Lane put out a tweet, and he said, and he's exactly right, the marks will bitch about it and complain about it, and they won't like it, and they will continue to watch. That's it in a nutshell.
But it is about the money, and the ticket prices are just astronomical now. And in fact, I saw something. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick while we're doing this, because I just took this down. There was a comment that was put up on TikTok where this guy who was recording a live video at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios in Hollywood, he noticed that the president of WWE, Nick Khan, was standing nearby. And he went up to him and approached him and asked him a couple of things. And one of them was about the ticket prices. And he was saying about how expensive they were, to which Nick Khan replied to his comment saying that, you know what? So are you telling me they're too cheap? He was being funny, comical about it. But still, that is how people feel about your product. You are pricing the average wrestling fan out of wrestling.
And here's what I hate about it, Mac, because every time I watch these shows and I see all the people there, the first thought that runs through my head is, how are you affording these tickets? And here's what's really sad, Mac. I know how they're affording them. They're affording them with their credit card. Yep. So now that price of the ticket is going to be 25% higher. Now they're putting themselves in debt to go to a wrestling show. And that's the scary part. That is the scary part, because everybody is paying for these tickets with credit. Nobody's got that kind of cash to lay out. And bro, when you start putting crap like that on your credit card, man, it's going to catch up with you, Mac. And that's the scary part, man, because people don't realize that. People don't realize I'll just pay with my credit card. They don't know what the interest rates are. They don't understand that they're going to be paying that for years and years and years. That's the scary part of it.
And at some point, just like programming a bad show, fans will have to leave. They can't afford it anymore. They don't care about it anymore because they can't follow it anymore because you priced them out. I think that, we took the WrestleMania show from New Orleans. We moved it to Vegas because of the money. And now we're talking about 2027 going to Saudi Arabia. Why Saudi Arabia? Because they can make even more money in Saudi Arabia, where they can get whatever they ask. So, after a while, how soon before all shows will be over in Saudi Arabia or some other country that can afford to pay, the money that they're looking for? I still say they're shooting themselves in the foot, and eventually they're going to bleed out. They're just going to bleed out. The fans are going to get tired of it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of dealing with the ticket prices and hearing the people complain that want to take their families. I've got some of my own family, a friend that wants to carry his kids into a show at WWE. He can't afford it. He can't send his kids to go see it because it would cost him nearly $1,000 just to go up the road to see a show.
Yeah. Mac, I told you, freaking Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney, a Beatle, an original Beatle is playing Coors Field. I can get a ticket for $100. Paul McCartney, bro, Paul McCartney, and I can get a ticket for $100.
Let's see, if you want to be a part of the program tonight, all you got to do is drop us a super chat. We'll throw it up on the screen, and you can become a part of the show. Traffic Jam, always good to see you in here. Brock Lesnar needs to have this last match with John Cena and never return to the WWE again. This is hurting his legacy. Sammy and Cody are boring. I do think this is a perfect place for Brock Lesnar maybe to start to bow out, have a big match with John Cena and disappear. But, he's going to be there to make the money wherever they throw it at him. But I don't see anybody else he could really go up against that I really care about.
Hey, I was just reading, Mac, before I came on, that they're actually talking about Saudi. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm just reading this. But Saudi is actually talking about wanting Steve Austin on that WrestleMania card. So who knows who they're going to bring back? Austin, bro, by the time we get to that Mania, Austin will be 62.
Yeah. What kind of match can you honestly expect out of anybody at the age of 62? I mean, it doesn't matter. Time's going to catch up with you. And even if he can maybe look great, they'll put on one hell of a show, I guess. But the wrestling match is not going to be there, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Steve Austin. I think you're right. I think I heard other big names. They were trying to get a lot of legends to be there on that particular show. Tyler Dunn saying those superstars looked like they were being held hostage at the Mania 43 press conference.
A lot of people have been saying that. Mac, before you said it, I was on Twitch before I came on here, and several people were saying the same exact thing.
Yeah, it was really sad. I saw an ad today, and it struck a nerve with me. The ad was for a famous luxury car that's out there, and it talked about the various features of this car and the little details in the design and what they say separates them from just another automobile. And they went on to say during this commercial that pride is in the details. That should tell you just about everything you need to know when it comes to what we bitch about on this show. Yep. Pride is in the details, and the details suck right now in WWE.
Yeah, I'm a big pride guy, Mac. I was a big when I knew my name was on it, that meant something to me. My name is going to be on a show 50 years from now, and that meant a lot to me. And pride was a big part of what really drove me and drives me to this day.
And it seems like WWE is just happy with mediocrity. I mean, would you agree with that? That they're just happy? We're making money. We'll just put out whatever little we have to.
I think they're just happy churning out the content to fill these contractual obligations. That's it. If they gave USA Network 2.5 hours. What was it? 2 hours? If they gave them 2 hours tonight, they are very happy. We are way paid. They could give a crap what's in there in those 2 hours. As long did we give them 2 hours? Did we fulfill tonight's obligation? Great. What's next? They got something over the weekend. That's all they're looking at. That's all they care about.
Did you feel like this was the B show tonight and the A show was going to be the show that came on YouTube later?
I swear to God, Mac, I've lost track of all this. I don't even know what show is on YouTube. All I know is I got the Giants and the Dodgers after this show. I have no idea what show is on YouTube. I don't know when Lollapalooza is. I think Lollapalooza is in a week. Or I've totally lost track. But again, they still tell me, Mac, it all boils down to one thing, Mac. And you know what that is?
What is that?
I'm bitter.
Yeah, well, you are just a bitter individual.
You know what people don't understand, Mac? I got to tell you something. I'm a big baseball guy, Mac. I love my baseball. I know you love your Georgia Bulldogs. I love my baseball. Mac, here's what people don't understand. I swear I can't explain it any easier than this. Mac, about a month ago, the Giants lost something like 13 out of 16 games.
Yep.
Mac, they weren't scoring any runs. Every game was 1-0, 2-1. Like nobody could hit the freaking ball. And they slowly but surely were finding their way out of the race. I want everybody to understand what I'm saying. I have been a Giant fan, Mac, since 1970. Okay, so what is that, Mac? 55 years?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Mac, so as they're playing like horse manure, okay, Mac, I stopped watching the games. I stopped watching. And when the season starts, Mac, I will watch every game, every single game. Now, when you start playing like cow shit, I'm not wasting my time watching the game anymore. So, Mac, I stopped watching the game. I'm on social media. I'm calling for the manager's head. I'm cutting promos on the team, right? So, Mac, what happens? A month later, they go on a ridiculous winning streak. What did I start doing, Mac? I started watching the games again. Do you guys not understand that's the difference? These WWE shows are lousy and they're not getting better to make me want to watch. Do you understand that? I don't know how to make it any more clear to you than the way I just explained with the Giants. The Giants play like shit. I stop watching. The Giants start winning again. I start watching. I'm sitting here, bro. This show has not gotten better. And I swear to God, Mac, the last decade, the last
that's being nice. That's being nice.
That is being nice. And that's what people don't understand. I'm bitter because every week it's the same show. And every week, Mac, I say, this is a really bad show. Yep. That makes me freaking bitter? No, bro, it's a bad show.
How many times have we had a show that we loved, like they were maybe King of Queens or Everybody Loves Raymond or Seinfeld? Eventually, there's an expiration date because fans fall out of love with the show. It gets to a point where it's not the same.
9 seasons, bro. 9 seasons. These shows are done. That's when they wrap. And Mac, here's the thing, bro. Seinfeld, King of Queens, Raymond. 9 seasons because, Mac, they didn't want the show starting to deteriorate.
Correct.
They wanted to go out, and they're the first ones that say, man, we really started running out of ideas. We were starting to stretch. We did not want the show to decline. And in television, 9 seasons is the sweet spot.
Yep. And how long has WWE's programs been running? Year after year. I mean, as long as I can remember. And the shows, like you say, have not been getting better. So why don't they have an expiration date, just like anything else? I don't know if it's because we get new fans constantly coming in that maybe raise the views, but even the ratings, if I'm not mistaken, isn't SmackDown hasn't been doing great in the ratings, has it?
Neither of them have.
Yeah.
Neither SmackDown or Netflix have been doing good in the ratings. Neither show has.
And for whatever reason, we still get the same shit week after week. You know, look at tonight. I knew the minute they opened the show and I heard the announcer start. Now, well, I can't remember what his name, Vic Joseph, I think. And nothing against Vic Joseph, but I knew he was not one of their star players. I could tell immediately. And him and Booker T, honestly, kind of, I wanted to turn it down. I didn't want to hear him talk. It wasn't comfortable for me. So I knew right away this show is not going to be one of their A+ shows. And and it was not one of their A+ shows. Vince, what did you think about overall the show tonight?
Well, you know, it's funny, Mac, because see, here's the problem, guys. When you don't build anybody, they're not going to win. Okay, so like, you know, right off the bat, okay, bro, we've got 15 minutes of a promo for Brock Lesnar to deliver an F5. Okay, that should have been done in 5 minutes. But we got to eat time. So, you know, Truth is going to do his thing. And then 15 minutes of the show are already gone by for one F5. And here's the horrible part, Mac. I swear to God, this is where they don't even understand what they're doing. What does Brock Lesnar say to freaking R-Truth at the very top of the show? What does he say to him? I'm looking for John Cena.
Correct.
Mac, if you're going to say that, you've got to pay it off. You can't say at the top of the show, I'm looking for John Cena, and then there's no payoff. Yep. Like that's common sense, Mac. Like, again, I'm bitter. No, bro, I am not bitter. I am telling you, you cannot set the stage that Brock Lesnar is there to find and confront John Cena, and that never happens.
Here's the problem, and I bring this up every week, a thread. That was an opportunity to use a thread throughout the show where you make people want to continue to watch to see what happens next. He could have come in like hell on fire, you know, and come inside that locker room, tearing it apart. I want John Cena. He could have gone through that entire building looking for John Cena and ended up in the ring where Ron came out and made his little comments and then got his F5. That would have been the best way to have utilized that. Instead, they spit it all right there in the very beginning of the show, and it was done. It was over. There was nowhere else to go with this. And it was a mistake, and they do this week after week. Yeah. It's so simple just to add a little story that you thread through the show.
And it's over, and big bad Brock Lesnar is laughing because he ripped his pants.
Okay. And the crowd is almost treating him like a face. Did you notice that? The crowd was treating Brock like a face. Now you're going to go up against John Cena. You're supposed to be an evil ass-kicking heel.
He's slapping hands on the way out.
Yeah. I don't know. Traffic Jam saying AEW is probably the last real wrestling show. You want to comment on that, Vince?
I wish I could tell you, bro. I have not watched AEW. It's going to be 5 years in January that I've not watched a single show, so I cannot comment on AEW because they lost me a long time ago.
They have moments in AEW that are very good, and you know, they remind me of WCW in the early days when they were still trying to find their way. But it's taken so long now that I'm concerned they're never going to find their way. And I don't think they will until Tony Khan allows somebody else to come in and really kind of start booking that show the proper way. Yeah. That's just my opinion. And also, let's see, Rabbit Master with a $10 donation. We appreciate that, brother. The Marks got a crash course in business with the WrestleMania 43 announcement. Newsflash, TKO never cared about you, and neither did WWE. Saudi Arabia is WWE's most valuable customer.
You know, it's funny, Mac, because the NFL and Major League Baseball, like during the course of a season, maybe they'll have a series in Mexico, or maybe they'll go to England. And that's okay. They're not having the World Series in another country. They're not having the Super Bowl in another country. No. That's the equivalent of this. The equivalent of this is if this year's World Series is held in Saudi Arabia, Bro, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would have to believe, and I could be wrong, if Major League Baseball or the NFL were paid by Saudi Arabia to have the Super Bowl in Saudi or the World Series, I can't imagine the NFL or Major League Baseball taking that offer, and I don't care how much they were offered.
I wonder if we're not going to see possibly the NFL make that kind of a move. That's one company I'm starting to think may start thinking, because they talked about the NFL quite a bit tonight during the show, which makes me wonder, is there some kind of a situation between the NFL and now ESPN and WWE? So who knows?
Oh, I see that's the difference, bro, because I think hardcore NFL fans, hardcore baseball fans, bro, they ain't mamby-pamby wrestling fans. They would throw an absolute fit if that happened.
I think it's because it is an American sport, an American pastime. This is our big, event, of the American sport. Why is it in another country? Like you say, I don't mind if they travel around, and sometimes it's interesting to see when they travel around.
Right.
But for the big show like WrestleMania or the NFL's Super Bowl, hell no, it really should not be happening there.
Yeah.
Look here, before we just kind of bring up something that's good news. You had an anniversary this past week, did you not?
Mac, you're very sexy tonight. You got a couple buttons going there. Look at you.
Either that or get choked out without too high.
I think you may be getting a little hey nanny.
She's still awake next door. Yes,
let's get through this. I had Mac 42 years. This
congratulations, man!
Thank you very much.
That 42 years is tough. Look, I'm at 25 now, going on to 26, and the way I look at it is she's stuck with me. Oh man, let's talk about let's see what else we got on the show tonight. Sami Zayn.
I'm funny, and I am not kidding you. I swear to God, I am not kidding you. When we went to the back and Sami Zayn was talking to his opponent, bro, first of all, why are you going to shoot it that way unless the opponent is somebody? Like, Mac, I am not kidding you. I thought that was Dragon Lee. I swear to God, I'm like,
I did too.
I swear, I'm like, wait a minute. I thought I'm pretty sure Dragon Lee is on Raw, but that's what I'm talking about, Mac. Why would you shoot it that way unless it's a big freaking payoff? Like I'm thinking this wrestler is somebody that he isn't, and that's the big reveal.
I was surprised when he came out to fight Sammy, because I was waiting to see what his name was. I didn't catch it when he first came out.
Mac, I was too. I swear to God, I was too. I thought it was freaking Dragon Lee.
Yeah, I thought this or Ultimo Dragon or something like that. I thought it was one of these guys. I did not realize it was Rey Fenix. Not whatsoever. That always kind of cracks me up when they do that. Let's see. We do have EJ6385. Someone in the writer's room forgot that Brock was looking for Cena on SmackDown when last week was Cena's last SmackDown. Good point.
And not only that, but somebody in Twitch today also brought up a very, very good point. This would have never happened on my dime. Never happened on my dime. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mac, but didn't Sami Zayn get F5'd by Brock Lesnar last week?
I can't remember if I'm being honest.
He did. Brock Lesnar laid out Sammy and Cena. F5 Sami Zayn. So here's Sammy, the big baby face on tonight's show. Yep. He don't want revenge on that. He don't want a receipt on that.
You're supposed to forget about that, Vince. Remember that was last week.
Exactly. And you know what that does? That kills Sami Zayn, because you know what that makes you think? He's afraid of Brock Lesnar. That's what it makes you think. He got an F5 last week. I'm not going to mention Brock's name. I'm not going to go anywhere near Brock Lesnar. That's what it makes you freaking believe. That's why I always tell you, Mac, you've got to protect your wrestlers. You've got to protect the talent. He should have went out there after he F5'd Ron Killings. Sami Zayn should have went out there for that spot.
I agree. That would have been a much better spot for Sami Zayn versus what we got in the back with Rey Fenix.
Here's what you could have done. Here's what you could have done. You could have had him light up Brock, and then you could have had Brock turn it around, hit him with an F5, maybe hit him with 2 F5s. Then you've got a heel come out and say, hey, Sami, you know that open U.S. challenge? I'll take you up on it. Now, Sami is fighting from underneath. He took 2 F5s. We think Sami's going to lose the title. Now the babyface overcomes all odds and beats the dude. That's how you do it. You don't have a guy that you're building get F5 by Brock Lesnar and not even mention it.
And again, pride is in the details. That's just another little detail that would have made all the difference in the world. Sid, if Saudi pays money, they renounce Christianity too.
Yeah.
Oh, if it pays more money, they'll renounce Christianity too. Okay, I got you there. Yeah, there's just a lot of things I think with the Saudis that, like I say, I don't mind some of the shows from there, but big shows just don't belong. Let's talk about the Solo Sikoa and the video package that he had. I thought that was really good from Solo.
Yeah, Mac, I think they are listening to us, and I think they are finally getting it, because you had a Solo vignette, you had an Aleister Black vignette, and you had a Wyatt 6 vignette. Here's the only problem. Those vignettes are not going anywhere. They're very generic vignettes. They're not adding to a story. They're doing them to give those talents exposure so you don't forget about them, and that is a good thing, but you got to give me some substance in those vignettes, man. You got to give me something.
Yeah, the only one I got something out of was the Solo version. I thought Solo's pretty, because it showed another side of Solo that sometimes I don't buy him as being a real badass, but he looked pissed off in this video package tonight, and I'd like to see that because it shows just more fire in him. But the other 2 packages that you mentioned, Aleister Black, same promo we get week after week, basically. It's really nothing different to it whatsoever. BFAB, Julia, and the girl with the big purse were backstage, and they had the women's U.S. champion Julia face BFAB in a non-title match, but it wasn't even a match.
I just love the way they set this up, Mac, because you talk about this all the time. They think they're covering themselves by saying earlier today.
Yeah.
So we've got BFAB in the back, who's a C player at best. Then we got Giuliani and Big Purse coming up to her. And, BFAB basically says, I'm not busy right now. Let's have a match. So you've got C players. You've got C players making matches on the program. But the fact that they wrote earlier today, Mac, that covers it. This is what I mean. That's why when I tell you people, bro, they don't give a shit about anything. BFAB is making matches on this show, bro.
Since when has any wrestler made his own match on the show and just had it? Okay, we're going to have a match. Come on, let's go. I've not seen a single one ever do that until we got into the latest couple of years. Poor Nick, I don't know what he actually does in the back other than run around and get told by other people what's going to be done. Let's see. We also have Traffic Jam. Sami Zayn is overrated. That's all I got to say.
You wait till he wins the big one, man. You wait.
It's coming too. You can feel it coming.
Yep.
Rapid Master saying, Mac, Vince, everyone looked like hostages at that presser. The way Triple H sounded, you would think they had a gun to his head the whole time. It was one of those things. And by the way, in case you missed this earlier, this is the message to those poor guys.
I love the way when Triple H is promoting this as a game changer. What game is changing by WrestleMania? Like, seriously, I'm so sick and tired of that line. It's a game. What game? No, bro, there's no game. What's game changing is your freaking pocketbook. That's what's game changing. There's no game changing, bro.
No. There's just putting more money in his pocket, and that's the only thing that's changing. Everything, basically, your fans are getting screwed in the process. That's the only thing that's truly happening. Let's see, what do we have? There's really not much on this show tonight. Tiffany Stratton did face Jade Cargill.
Well, before we get to that, though, Mac, we've got a Wyatt 6 promo where Uncle Howdy is now Bo Dallas.
We talked about that last week, and I don't understand. Had they given a reason for this? By the way, those of you who are watching right now, leave us a message in the super chats, and we'll throw it up on the screen, and maybe you can answer this. But was there a point where Bo Dallas and Howdy were two different people that we now get to see? And I'm confused, and I think it muddied that entire storyline. He came out as Uncle Howdy from the get-go. Then all of a sudden, last week, I think it was last week, he became Bo Dallas.
And not only that, but you got Bo Dallas here. The other dude, what's the other guy's name?
I can't remember his name. And I was trying to think of that too. During the show, I couldn't remember.
The other dude is there with no Wyatt 6 stuff. He's there, And where's the rest of them? It was just the two of them.
Well, they couldn't afford to bring everybody else out because, the company is hurting for money.
Well, I don't know. Is it the Wyatt 2 now? And somebody didn't tell us?
Yeah, we have budget cuts. It's now the Wyatt 2 coming out. That's pretty good. Let's see. Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill. I got to say, not a bad match. They had a couple moments a little wonky, but I thought the match overall was pretty good. And Tiffany Stratton, God knows, I don't know what that girl is doing when it comes to the gym, but it seems like in the last month, she has gotten cut up and she is one hot looking little girl.
Yeah, no, I always look at and I don't look at it in a sexual way. Like I am freaking old. Well, I just like her see that's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, you've got AJ Lee skipping my Lou down to the ring. Then you've got a woman whose legs are like freaking tree trunks. Her freaking thighs, bro, like are so freaking thick like that. That's why, when I look at that, I'm like, okay, she's a wrestler. She can hurt people. She can beat people up. Like I buy that. I don't have a problem with it. My only problem with this, to be honest with you, Mac, is, bro, how many times we're going to go to that Nia Jax well? My God, it's been years. It's been years.
I made a comment in my notes here. It was talking about Nia Jax, and it's every time that we need to inject somebody different into the women's, feuds. It's always Nia Jax. And that she does a finisher. It's called the Annihilator, where she gets up on the second rope, then drops her ass basically on the chest of the opponent. Man, that is the weakest finisher
tonight. It was so bad tonight, Mac. It was like she sat down on her in slow motion.
Yeah, that drop needs to be dropped. And I've said that for a long time. For whatever reason, they keep letting her use that thing, and she does not need to be allowed to use that because it is a horror. Every time the camera catches it, you can tell she's just barely putting her butt down on top. That's no Rikishi. Rikishi could deliver those things, and they looked real.
Yeah.
All right, Nick Aldis.
Whatchamacallit took that one bump though to the Tiffany took that one bump to the outside when her feet kind of went underneath her.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
I thought she hurt herself. I was really concerned that she had gotten her. Man, she could have blew out, both her ankles, her knees on that. That was dangerous.
Yeah, the way she hit, her feet looked like they just slipped up from underneath her. Yeah, I thought she may have smacked her head too. I was waiting for her to knock herself out because of the way she slipped up from underneath her feet. Yeah, it looked pretty rough, but she got right back up again. I guess it didn't bother her. But yeah, I remember that moment because my wife was walking by. She was just getting in the house at that time. And I was like, oh, and she's like, what's the matter? And I said, I thought this girl was knocking herself out, but she got right back up again. So,
yeah.
Nick Aldis is now with, let's see, Charlotte and one half of the Secret Service in the back, and then they got followed by The Miz. It was pretty much a do-nothing every time Nick Aldis is in the back.
Well,
it is a do-nothing.
They gave us a Chelsea Green fix, so that's.
I did, and honestly, I liked a little bit of a crossover between The Miz and Chelsea too. I thought that they kind of blended pretty well. Miz is really good at those type of things, and I think Chelsea and him together could be interesting. That may be something they want to look at as they keep going down the line when it comes to Chelsea.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't find those backstage segments with Nick Aldis that great, and I haven't for a long time. And he's one hell of a talent, especially as a wrestler. I hate the fact that he's being used the way he's being used.
I agree with you. I mean, there's no point. You could put anybody in that role.
Yeah.
I mean, you could put an office worker in that role. I mean, they have him doing nothing in that role. Nothing.
Did you see Rey Mysterio when he was arriving earlier in the day in his car? Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
You need to go back if you get a chance and look at that. The way they shot that particular angle on him, he looked like a midget getting out of the car. They shot it kind of from down low. They had to do that on purpose. And it was like, man, what have you done? Because he got out and I thought, who's this kid walking out of the car?
Yeah.
And it was Ray. It was just the way that they shot it. That's the reason it looked so bad.
Yeah.
We got a retrospective tonight, or just time filler about John Cena and Brock Lesnar.
But Mac, this was time. It's so funny that you say time filler. This was the best thing on the show.
It was pre-produced.
This was literally the best thing on the show, without a shadow of a doubt. This was the best thing on the show. Absolutely.
It told the story. I mean,
Yes.
And I actually am looking forward to seeing the second part of this particular thing next week. So it made its point. It was a bit of a time filler, I thought, though, but it shouldn't have been the star of the night. But like you say, it really was the star of the night, because the only other thing we got on tonight's show was Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton in the main event. And honestly, I knew where that was going to go, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they put Randy Orton in there just to be putting Drew McIntyre over. I think Randy now is the guy that puts other guys over. That's just his position, it seems like. But anything about that you enjoyed other than maybe the return of Cody Rhodes at the very end?
No, again, man, it's just, again, we say it every week with all of these shows. These are house shows being taped.
Yeah, tonight was not a great show. And like I said, I knew it right from the beginning. I was like, oh, God.
I will tell you this, though. I will tell you this, because when you're looking at Jade and Tiffy, and when you're looking at Drew and Orton, I am telling you this. I think they're getting a little bit of pushback from Netflix and USA Network about wanting more stars and more main event matches. They book main event matches on this show. Now, here's the bottom line. It ain't going to make a difference. USA Network and Netflix executives, they don't understand the wrestling business. It's not going to make a difference. The problem is there are no storylines. There's no episodic television. There's no cliffhangers. There's no building characters. So you can keep putting these main event matches. You can go 50-50. You could DQ people. You can have a double count out. You can keep doing this stuff. This is not going to increase your bottom line number. There's no way. But I think that's why they're doing this. I don't think, Mac, 3 months ago, you would have saw Jade Cargill and Tiffany and Drew and Randy Orton in the same show. I don't think you would have.
No, I thought there was some star power on tonight's show. Most definitely. We had Brock Lesnar at the start of the show. We had Cody Rhodes at the end of the show. You had Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. There were some big names. And then Tiffany, of course, and Jade Cargill, which was a good match. Like I say, a couple of places wonky, but overall, I thought it was a good match. So they did have some highlights tonight. I just still don't feel like we're getting a product that we should be getting, that there's not enough put into these shows to make me care. And my question is, and I was going to ask you this a minute ago, do you feel that the casual fan is more looking for a wrestling match, or are they looking for the stories that lead to the wrestling match?
They stopped watching a long time ago, Mac. Mac, I can't tell you, Mac, 25 years ago, here's what I would always hear 25 years ago. I would hear this from people in my own family. I would hear this from my own friends. Here's what I always would hear. Vince, I'm not a wrestling fan. I don't watch Raw for the wrestling matches. I watch Raw for everything else in between. Yep. I used to hear that, Mac, from everybody. There is nothing else in between now. The everything else in between is gone. That's why those people don't watch the show anymore. That's why the only people you've got watching these shows are, wrestling fans who are watching for the wrestling. That's why they're booking Sami Zayn and Rey Fenix, because they know they're going to have a 5-star match and the people are going to get off over the match. Meanwhile, there isn't one casual fan that gives one shit about that freaking match. And what's the stuff in between? The stuff in between is exactly what you said, Mac. Nick Aldis in the back running around and running into this one and that one. That's what I can't miss.
And like we said when we started the show, pride is in the details, and the details aren't there because those are the things that are in the middle that we're talking about that are missing. If you look back to the Attitude Era, anybody who's watching now, and if you were, you were around during the Attitude Era, or you've seen some of that, some of the key moments of WWE history didn't happen in the ring. It happened outside the ring. Those are the moments you remember: the concrete going into the Corvette to the windows exploded, the titles getting tossed into the river. Things like that are what you remember, and those things don't happen anymore.
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
Let me ask you, Vince, this week in wrestling, because we got a little bit of time still, because that's all the show there was on BroDown. I mean, on SmackDown. But in the world of professional wrestling this week, anything in particular that really kind of made you get even more bitter than you already are?
One thing I was shocked about, Mac. I swear to God, I was shocked over this. I could not believe, we found out that Nick Hogan was the lone beneficiary of Hulk Hogan's will. Bro, I could not believe that Hulk Hogan was only worth $5 million.
No, I couldn't either.
Mac, when you look at his first run at the WWE, the NWO, the Hulkamania merch, the NWO merch, the movies, the TV show, the homes, the cars, the businesses, the beach shop. I understand he had 2 divorces. Yeah. So there was probably alimony, involved. I get that. But Mac, I heard that number, and Mac, guys get $1 million to headline WrestleMania. Yeah. That number, I was expecting that number to at least be 20 million. I could not believe that.
Do you think that that money going to his son, Nick, is the best person to be getting that money?
No, man.
I mean, he's had his own personal problems.
I was thinking the same thing, Mac. I mean, Nick has shown such a level of immaturity like his whole entire life. Now he's going to have that money in his hands. And, bro, here's the thing, man, I think, too. Hogan was no Flair. Hogan didn't spend money like Ric Flair. The only thing I could think of, bro, is 2 things. If alimony with 2 wives, and if there were just some bad business deals in there, you know what I'm saying? Where
there had to be some bad business deals,
man. Yeah, there had to be.
Let's see. We have Sneaky Fudge Face. Okay, Vince, what's your favorite and least favorite Beatles song?
We're going to do me, and then we're going to do you, Matt, because I'm curious. Okay. My favorite Beatles song of all time is, and it's really simple, it's Day Tripper, because I love the riff, man. I just absolutely love the riff. My worst Beatles song is probably Revolution number 9, bro. That song used to freak me out as a kid because there was a lot of Paul is dead hints in there, and if you played it backwards, it was Turn Me On Dead Man and all that stuff. Horrible, horrible song. What about you, Mac?
My favorite Beatles song was an early Beatles song. And I still remember the album covers. Man, I had this album until I got ruined in a flood from Meet the Beatles. But it was I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Really? Wow.
For whatever reason, that has always been the Beatles song to me. That's the one that says the Beatles. Yeah. Because later on, they got a little bit different than that. They went from that sound to a different sound. I did like Hey Jude and Imagine, things like that. I love those songs.
There were three phases of the Beatles. There was the early Beatles. There was the middle Beatles and there were the late Beatles. I think their sweet spot was like, Help, Revolver, and Rubber Soul. Rubber Soul is my favorite album of all time. And I think like 65, 66. Oh God, I love that era of Beatle music.
I think I've told you this before, of having been in radio, people are just amazed when I say this. They were not my favorite group. The Beatles they weren't my favorite. I was more of a Southern rocker kind of guy, and that's the kind of music I enjoyed, especially things like the Allman Brothers. That's just good pub music when you can sit in a pub and listen to it and jam.
Yeah,
that's good music to me.
Yeah.
It's good drinking music, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything else you want to talk about? We got,
just trying. I'm thinking of what else happened this past week. I took a lot of grief because I thought the whole Becky AJ Lee thing was a joke. Bro, you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
There were so many things wrong with the introduction of AJ Lee, and I laid everything out and I explained everything. But I swear to God, man, when in 2025 I'm seeing these wrestlers make these over the top, ridiculous, unbelievable faces. You know what it reminds me of? I swear to God, it brings me back to Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. I swear to God. Remember when Wile E. Coyote would get the anvil dropped on his head, and then he would fall off the cliff and walk away as the accordion. In 2025, man, when people do stuff that's just so over the top, fake and phony, bro, that is just horrible to me, man.
Mike Ernesto saying, you guys ever get a tarot card reading? Vince, have you?
I never would, bro. I stay away from that crap, Mac. I don't want to know nothing.
That stuff is kind of weird to me. Now, when I was doing radio in Jacksonville, Florida, we had a medium come in that was from the what was the name of the movie? I can't remember, the one with the family in a house and
Poltergeist.
Well, the lady who was involved in behind the scenes of that, and the actual woman who was kind of weird like that, she came into the studio and she was going to read us live on the air. She started reading me and stopped in the middle and said she had to leave and quit because she said of the evilness that she saw in my prior life before this life. I was like, what?
Oh my God, really?
She said I raped and killed people in my prior life.
Oh, you, Mac.
Oh man. And I'm thinking, I'm just the nicest guy in the world. I wouldn't even hurt a flea if I didn't have to.
I do call you Mad Mac. Maybe there's something to that.
Make me snap. You never know what happens.
Wow, that's interesting.
Vince, tell everybody how they can find you online.
Yeah, guys, I like to put my money where my mouth is, and I do take great pride in my shows, and I want you to sample my shows. And that's why if you go to patreon.com/Russo TWC, you can get a free week of the brand. You could hear us all week. And if you want to sign up after that, we got tiers that start at $3 a month. Yes, 75 cents a week. So just go to patreon.com/Russo TWC.
Just think what you'll get. You'll get the most bitter individual in professional wrestling today. Vince Russo. That's all he does is bitter.
Yes.
Man, come by Road Trip After Hours on Wrestle Binge. Come by Road Trip After Hours on YouTube and sign up there. We have grown that channel because of the folks who are watching us right now. I know that to be true because every time we finish this show, the amount of subscribers goes up every single time. Thank you so much for that. It's Road Trip After Hours. I know, Vince, you're trying to get to a number soon. I think I saw that just recently.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to, what is it, like 60? We're close to 60,000 YouTube members, just a couple of hundred away. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm close to you because I'm at 6,000.
There you go. Hey, Mac, what is that? What is that like legal seal of something it looks like you got behind you? What is that on the wall?
This right here.
Yeah, what is that?
That's the Guinness Book of World Records for when I think I may have told you this before. I created an event back in 1996 called the Summer Redneck Games. And it was worldwide. We were on Letterman, Tonight Show. We were all over the place. They were covering the event, and it was just one of those events. And so we got recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records for
Well, what is the world record? What is it?
Well, it's just in the let's see. I'll read it to you. Let's see. In 1996, radio DJ Mac Davis, USA, of station Y96 of Dublin, conceived the Summer Redneck Games as an antidote to that year's Olympic Games in nearby Atlanta. It is now marked officially amazing.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's neat, man.
Yeah, that's one of those things. We got, we were in Time Magazine, Newsweek. You wouldn't believe, back then we had magazines.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's awesome, man.
But man, that was always a lot of fun. We got, I think, one more popping in here. We haven't seen Roland. Aha, there he is. Roland Curtis off Vermont Avenue. Do you guys see Triple H and Nick Khan were on stage at Canelo versus Crawford Wayne live during SmackDown? No, but I had a feeling that Triple H was not in attendance, didn't you?
At the last show.
Yeah, this show tonight. I didn't think that he was anywhere around because the show felt like it was kind of, like you say, it is what it was.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of here. We'll be back next Friday night, right after SmackDown, same time, same place. I'm your host, Mac Davis, and that is Mr. Vince Russo. We'll see you again next week.